Those who lack understanding will praise or find fault with the Buddha's teaching, or Buddha's friends for this or that superficial quality. But there are other things that are profound, hard to see, hard to understand, peaceful, excellent, beyond mere thought, subtle, to be experienced by those with gnosis, which the Tathagata, having realized them by her own super knowledge, proclaims. These are the things the children of birth will praise. An exploration of the Brahmajala Sutta. The short story is the two guys following close behind the Buddha and his friends. One of them is finding fault in the Buddha's teaching, and Buddha's friends. And the other guy is refuting the claims, praising the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the people who follow the Buddha's teachings, for this or that superficial quality. The Buddha and his friends stop for the night. In the morning, a bunch of monks start talking about how funny it is these two guys are following them and so passionately arguing about the Buddha. The Buddha asks the monks what they're talking about, and they tell him. The Buddha's reply is worth quoting. It is great advice for us Westerners. Buddhism is still so misunderstood. Buddhism is both praised and criticized because of lack of understanding. The Buddha said, "Monks, if anyone should speak in disparagement of me, of the Dhamma, or of the Sangha, you should not be angry, resentful, or upset on that account. If you were to be angry or displeased at such disparagement, that would only be a hindrance to you. For if others disparage me, the Dhamma, or the Sangha, and you are angry or displeased, can you recognize whether what they say is right or not?" The monks respond, "Nope." And the Buddha continues, "If others disparage me, the Dhamma, or the Sangha, then you must explain what is incorrect as being incorrect, saying, 'That is incorrect, that is false, that is not our way, that is not found among us.' But, monks, if others should speak in praise of me, of the Dhamma, or of the Sangha, you should not on that account be pleased, happy, or elated. If you were to be pleased, happy, or elated at such praise, that would only be a hindrance to you. If others praise me, the Dhamma, or the Sangha, you should acknowledge the truth of what is true, saying, 'That is correct, that is right, that is our way, that is found among us.' It is, monks, for elementary, inferior matters of moral practice that the worldling would praise the Tathagata." After this, the Buddha explains those elementary, inferior matters of moral practice. We won't go into a lot of detail here, but we should at least get a little taste of what he's talking about. In the sutta, there are 3 sections that describe 3 categories of praise. The first section seems to be full of praise that average lay people would give. Things like, and this is not directly quoted, Buddha doesn't kill, he doesn't steal or lie, he doesn't have sex, he doesn't destroy crops, he only eats once a day, he avoids watching dancing and singing, he doesn't decorate his body and he doesn't wear perfume, he doesn't buy or sell and he doesn't run errands. Those are the things that average, normal, common people would praise the Buddha for. The second section is all about comparing Buddha to other ascetics and Brahmins. It seems to be all about comparing Buddha's conduct to the conduct of those other ascetics and Brahmins. It's full of things like, some ascetics and Brahmins ascetic Gautama refrains from such enjoyment. Or, whereas some ascetics and Brahmas remain addicted to high and wide beds and long chairs, couches adorned with animal figures, fleecy or variegated coverlets, coverlets with hair on both sides or one side, silk coverlets embroidered with gems or without, elephant, horse, or chariot rugs, the ascetic Gautama refrains from such high and wide beds. And the last section seems to be all about comparing how other ascetics and Brahmins make their living to how the Buddha makes his living. For example, whereas some ascetics and Brahmins, feeding on the food of the faithful, make their living by such base arts, such wrong means of livelihood as appeasing the devas and redeeming vows to them, making earth house spells, causing virility or impotence, preparing and consecrating building sites, giving ritual cleansings, the ascetic Gautama refrains from such base arts and wrong means of livelihood. In all the examples from these three sections, we're constantly being reminded that Buddha's conduct in these contexts is not what makes Buddha special. It is not because Buddha refrains from killing, stealing, lying, sexuality, magic, or whatever. These superficial qualities are not what make Buddha a Buddha. There are other things. The Tathagata says, there are monks, other matters, profound, hard to see, hard to understand, peaceful, excellent, beyond mere thought, subtle, to be experienced by the wise, which the Tathagata, having realized them by his own super-knowledge, proclaims, and about which those who would truthfully praise the Tathagata would rightly speak. And what are those matters? To me, this sounds a lot like what later became Zen. This sutta that we're reading is from the Pali Canon. It was written before the Zen schools emerged in China, Vietnam, and Japan. But here, we see the Buddha pointing to other matters beyond mere thought. These are the same profound matters pointed to by mystics from other traditions. It is the same stuff that the Gospel of Thomas is constantly urging us to consider. Let's take a quick look at these profound qualities, which are mainly pointed to by showing what they are not. So, now the Buddha describes 62 wrong views, and again we won't go into great detail because I don't want to lose your attention, but I urge you to read this stuff. It is very interesting. First, he deals with the concepts of those concerned with the past. He points out the flaws in concepts of eternity and non-eternity, infinity and non-infinity. He points out the uselessness of the teachers who constantly resort to evasive statements and calls them eel-wrigglers. He then points out problems with the concept of chance origination, random origination. The world itself has arisen because of random chance, not cause and effect. Then, he deals with the concepts of those concerned with the future. He outlines the 16 different ways that people proclaim a doctrine of conscious post-mortem survival. So conscious after death survival. He discusses the 8 ways people proclaim the doctrine of unconscious afterlife survival. He outlines 8 more ways that people proclaim a doctrine of neither conscious nor unconscious afterlife survival. He outlines the 7 ways that people proclaim the annihilation, destruction, Finally, the Buddha wraps it up for us. This, monks, the Tathagata understands. These viewpoints thus grasped and adhered to will lead to such and such destinations in another world. This the Tathagata knows and more, but he is not attached to that knowledge. And, being thus unattached, he has experienced for himself perfect peace, and having truly understood the arising and passing away of feelings, their attraction and peril, and the deliverance from them, the Tathagata is liberated without remainder. He is pointing to the power of perfect mindfulness, direct experience, beyond mere thought, beyond views, beyond concepts, beyond the intellect. The intellect is the child of dualism. It's the father and mother of dualism. It's the brother and sister of dualism. It is a useful tool, but its usefulness is limited. It is pointing us away from creating more stories about our experience